What's up, guys? This is none other than your king of the night, 57. Now I'm kind of torn between this news, but I will talk about news. I've been slow on news because I've been worrying about my mixtapes. I've been grilling for the family. I have family things come up. I have real personal, mental health issues come up. A whole bunch of stuff that I have to get fixed. So it's like, sorry, it's spider bite. Anyways, but I'm getting to the news right now just to make up for lost time. I just been going through some real stuff. Plus, I also been trying to upload some new tracks for my mixtape from people who do, listen to my mixtape. So I'm gonna get to the devs article. In fact, it's actually GameSpot article. So this is actually a legitimate source. So let's get to the actual why Final Fantasy 15's devs continue to redefine the game post-release. In the present day of the state, Final Fantasy 15 is very different than any game we had at launch at 2016. After several updates and content drops, which include a number of quality improvements, new missions, new monsters, new world, new events to go along with the 4 DLC, with the 15 core entry, and the JRPG has continued to evolve post-launch period. And the developers see plenty of room for more growth and plenty forward. During PAX East in 2018, the creative team behind FF15 announced that the new episodes focusing on Arden, Aranea, Luna, and Noctis, which aim to make the game's main story. Moreover, move forward and then making mod tools for the PC versions available. They hope this will allow players to implement new events and missions as side content. Seeking the GameStop director Takefumi Terada, I don't know Japanese, so please don't hurt me for that. Live service manager was Shigefume Tanaka. I really don't know Japanese, so please don't shoot me when I do that. Community is feedback alongside their story and hopes closing the Final Fantasy 15 main story. There's been a lot of enthusiasm with the community and experiencing the game on PC, which I already know that. I get some good feedbacks of why I should play the PC version of 15. With new updates coming, what are the thoughts on the response the PC version has had? And then it just keeps going on about the PC is mod tools. Which, if I do get a good PC, I'll rebuy the game on PC just to be able to play the mods and stuff like that. I think they have taken down the lewd mods. Like when you got to see Gentiana, Sydney, or RNA naked, they took those mod tools out because it was kind of getting too far. Don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy female characters are super hot, but we gotta control ourselves. Kids play this game as well as adults and everybody else. And even then, it's just like, at some point we need to kind of cut back on too much freedom. Freedom is good, but only when it's used right. Only if it's used for the right stuff. And I understand, I think probably Type 0 they can get away with that because Type 0 is an M-rated game. So, but 15 it wouldn't have been able to get through that. It wouldn't be able to been green lighted. But besides the naked, besides the nude models for Gentiana, Sydney, and Aranea, I think that, I understand why they had to take it out and stuff like that. I understand completely why things had to be, re-edited and stuff like that. I get with it. I sympathize with the whole stuff. So, yeah, pretty much with all that, I do sympathize with that. I do like the updates, but the only thing I got to question is even if that's what you're doing, then how come? Okay, if that's what you're doing, how come you couldn't make this release be with the games? At least the first 3 episodes, the Gladiolus, Prompto, and Ignis episodes, and then Comrades. I don't know why they couldn't come with the game. That's the only thing I question right here is how come that stuff couldn't come with the game. But other than that, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to extend the game's life and make it even stronger, since they got harsh competition. Not to mention, God of War just came out, so they had to compete with God of War as well. So I understand why they have to. I mean, in order for them to keep the life for Final Fantasy 15, because they don't want Final Fantasy 15 to die off right away. Hopefully they keep, and I think it's a strategic thing Square Enix is doing. I think it's a very strategic thing Square Enix is doing, because with this will mean that they can have time to work on Kingdom Hearts 3 and perfect it. So, they can have time to do all this stuff. So, this is actually one of the good things that they're doing, but also kind of bad because people have already played through the main story. People have already beaten the game without the episodes. People have already got the taste of what the story and the world is before the episodes. Now, for people who have not played Final Fantasy 15 and they bought the season pass with Final Fantasy 15 or the Royal Edition, they get to enjoy the full experience we never got to enjoy when we bought the game, during release. So the post-release thing, I gotta say I disagree with the post-release content, just only on the fact that this stuff should have been in the game. But I see what they're trying to do now. Now they're just trying to make the game live a little longer. But this is some stiff competition, because right now people are playing God of War. The new God of War is the new hit game right now. So it's like, I mean, I do plan to play it. I promise not to stream this weekend because of, the trouble I got into. So I still can't play God of War this weekend, but next weekend I'll be able to crank my cousins. Hopefully, I think he probably have beaten the whole game, if anything else. But nonetheless, that game just came out, and there's some other games coming out. Plus, Fortnite's really big. It's like, I can see what they're trying to do, and they're doing the best they can to keep the life a little longer for this game. But it's like, I think people would love the game a lot more if this is my opinion, and please don't get upset, but this is only my opinion. People would love the game a lot more if they would have at least put a few of the content in there, like the episode Ignis, the episode Prompto, and the episode Gladiolus already with the game, but as a season pass thing. I think people would have liked it a lot better. Don't get me wrong, I love the new content. Matter of fact, I love Final Fantasy 15 a lot more because of the new content. Because of the new content that came out. I love Final Fantasy 15 a lot more because of the new stuff. I love the Royal Edition. In fact, the Royal Edition level is actually as long as an actual game. It's a 4-hour DLC level. And it's good because Final Fantasy final levels are supposed to be the longest levels. I remember 13.2 where you had to go through the Academia. I think it's the post-apocalyptic one where Caius has messed up the timeline there. Or when you had to go to the Northern Cavern, and if you don't use cheats, of course, it would take you a long time to get to Sephiroth. But it give you time to train, and then, even classic Final Fantasies like Final Fantasy 6 for Kefka's Tower and stuff like that, it took you for almost forever to get there. So they're putting back the old Final Fantasy stuff, tropes in there that's good, such as the long final level, because the final levels are supposed to be extremely long. I mean, this is the final level. They're giving you a chance to train before you get to the final boss. Of course, there's no need to, because Artem was never hard unless you put the rare medal on after defeating Omega. But if you've done the whole entire Royal Edition Chapter 14, then it was a size of a full game, plus an almost nearly undefeatable boss in Omega. So, I gotta appreciate things the way it is. I gotta appreciate the new content, and I will appreciate the new content. I just think that some of this stuff could have been during release, but that's just, me right there. This could be done during the release time, because I mean, if they're going up against the new games that are out like God of War and Fortnite, then I'll be honest, it's hard for them to have any kind of chance. But I understand what they're trying to do. They're making more life to it. Don't get me wrong, the new DLCs are actually what makes Final Fantasy 15 a great game even more. If there's a second chance they can enter this if they can enter this game into another game, until another game of the year thing. I think it's possible they'd be able to get game of the year this time, considering now we got a flushed out full story with a bunch of DLC, a bunch of content. Chapter 14 is 10 times harder than it should. The only thing I will ask though, if Square Enix could do it, if they could make a harder Arden boss fight, that would be a-okay for me, because I'd like a harder Arden boss fight so I can actually feel like I'm playing an actual Final Fantasy game. Even though this is a new Final Fantasy game with action-based combat, that, you know, they should increase the level cap of Arden just because of the action-based. Because with the turn-based stuff, yeah, it would have been harder 10 times. But, you know, the new Final Fantasies don't follow the turn-based, so harder final boss fights is really going to be good for Square Enix. You know, make us work for it. And they could do it because I've seen some gameplay of God of War, and they made some of their boss fights super hard. From what I've seen, I've not played it. From what I've seen my cousin playing. But the point I'm trying to say is that, you know, I think there's a chance that Final Fantasy 15 could get Game of the Year now. If there's a chance for them to be able to enter it back in, because now they got the DLC episodes, the Royal Edition that comes with extra stuff, extra thing, plus you go the secret Piteos ruins to get your Black Hood. The Insomnia Ruins final level is actually an actual Final Fantasy final level, considering how long it took. It's the size of an actual game if you played through everything. If you played through everything, and if people have seen my streams before, you know, before I had to cut back on streaming, people could see how long that the Insomnia Ruins level actually was. They could actually see how long it was. So it's good that they're doing this. In fact, this is actually making Final Fantasy 15 a better game than it originally was when it was originally released. I'm just saying, for Square Enix's future, such as with Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Final Fantasy 7 remake, maybe they could put, and, you know, and I used to be negative about the pushback for Final Fantasy 7 remake, but looking at Final Fantasy 15, this is actually a good thing, because I think it'd be better just to put... Now, if you want to keep the game living a lot longer, you can add stuff to it, but I think at least a few of the stuff should have came with the game. You know. Now, I can see the Armored Unleashed being something that they had to patch in a little bit later, because if you were able to get that right away, it'd be just too easy. All you have to do is collect 13 Royal Arms and go to Izunia's graveyard to get it. So it's like, I understand why they had to patch that in later, because then you'd be able to go through boss fights like crazy. You'd be able to beat Ravis without using a Phoenix Down or Elixir. For people who have not grinded this game. But nonetheless, this is bad news and good news. This is both bad and good news. Bad because some of the stuff should have been in the game originally, you know. Good news because now this game is actually got a full-length, flushed-out story we could actually enjoy hours on. Like, now this feels like an actual Final Fantasy game, you know. And yeah, I gotta say, 15 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies, so it's like, you know, for me to be critical like this really does hurt on the inside, but I have to be critical. I have to use critical thinking skills. You know, 15's a really good game. I play hours on end for 15. You know, I love 15 with every bit of heart I got. I just think that some of this stuff should have been released, you know, earlier, but then release some of the stuff a little bit later. But nonetheless, I think that, you know, this is both bad and good. Good for the fact that now, for people who just buy Final Fantasy 15 and waited for the game and got the Royal Edition, they actually got to play a full fleshed out story with full fleshed out everything. Even the comrades, multiplayer, and everything else that came with the game. So, you know, this is actually something that's going to be beneficial to Final Fantasy 15. So, well, tell me what you think. So, what you think in the comments below. May the crystal be with you. I'll link the article in the comments section below. You know, do you like this idea or do you think this is terrible? I want you to let me know. May the crystal be with you.